guard is one of the most fascinating positions in jiu-jitsu, and it's vast. I always say the guard is like a universe, and guards within it are like galaxies. So sometimes when your buddy is trying to pass your guard and they disrupt the galaxy that you're in, you have to transition to a different galaxy. This is one flow that will show you how to go between guards and how the guards connect together. It's far from the only way you can, but think about these different little guards as galaxies you can go to, or modules. There are places in this flow that I might attack from that guard, that I might go back from one guard to another. But the point being, when our partner gives us a problem, we can address that problem by transitioning to a different guard. And this is just a flow, particularly for newer people that are getting to know some of these more modern guards, how you can go from one to the other and sort of see how they set up. So we're gonna start with the closed guard with my buddy with his knees on the mat. My buddy, and this is gonna be a drill for both people too, that we can flow back and forth. So when my buddy opens my guard, he's gonna stuff my foot between his legs and try and pass. I'm gonna get what we call the knee shield guard with my knee in front, checking, step on the hip, lift my hips, go back to the full closed guard. He's gonna open again, and this time he's gonna stuff the other side, because you can't always tell which side your partner's gonna go to. We're gonna get the knee shield, step on the hip. If you're not flexible enough to step on the hip, you can step on the mat, lift your hips, switch, go back to the closed guard. This time when he opens my guard, I'm gonna get two sleeves. Step on the hips, move my hips out, go to the lasso. Feet on the hip, foot in the lasso. Grab these two elbows, pull them forward, right back to the closed guard. This time when he opens the guard, he's gonna grab my pants like he wants to do the Toriando pass. Doesn't really matter whether he grabs them here or at the cuff. What I'm gonna do is grip the sleeves, step on the hip, angle my hip out, and kick to break the grip. We could go to the lasso from here, but today, let's step on the hip, go to the full spider. Back to the closed guard. This time when he opens my grips, opens my guard, he's gonna grab my feet and stuff my feet down, like he was trying to pass the butterfly guard. I'm gonna sit up, move my hips out, and get to a playable butterfly guard position. Now once I'm here, Jesse's gonna pop up to combat base, right? Because we wanna be sure we're reacting to things that he might actually do. And a lot of times folks will pop up to combat base to defend this position. I'm gonna get the collar and the sleeve, sit back, step on the hip, and go to what we call the outside hook guard, because the hook comes from the outside. Jesse's gonna stuff my foot, switch to the inside hook guard. The inside hook coming out, and the foot stepping on the hip. Now, I'm gonna lift my hips up, step on his hip, go right back to my feet on his hips. I could go back to the closed guard from here, right? Remember, we have modules, but instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the collar and the sleeve. Now, Jesse's been in combat base, he's gonna decide he wants to stand up. If I don't have these grips and he stands up, there are of course other things we can do. We're gonna go back to what we call the outside hook guard. Often they'll try to pass by stuffing the foot. We're gonna switch to the inside hook guard. And again, you know, with your own drills, you can start attacking from here, but what we're gonna do here, watch my hips, I'm gonna lift them up, go right back to the feet on the hips guard, two sleeves, spider guard. Now at this point, my partner is gonna stand. So we're gonna clear the feet off the hips, go right back to the inside hook guard. Sometimes my partner's gonna step forward with this outside leg. I'm gonna underhook that leg, switch my leg position to what we call X guard. This is a powerful sweeping position, and we'll end the flow with a variation on this. We're gonna keep the flow going when my partner puts his knee on the mat because he doesn't want to get swept. I'm gonna go to X guard on the far side, taking my hand out, pushing, and you see how my legs can just easily go to this position. Now, ordinarily, I would just sweep here, but in this case, what I'm gonna have Jesse do is I'm gonna have Jesse put this knee on the mat right by my head. I'm gonna hug his thigh in what we call the deep half guard. Remember, in guard, we always want to be all the way in or all the way out. So you see how I'm in deep? A way that he can stop that is by pushing my face away, and if he does that, puts his knee on the mat. This time, I go right to the half guard with the underhook. He knows the half guard with the underhook can lead to the back, so he's gonna stand up. I go to the back to the outside, the inside hook guard, and When he clears my foot up, he's going to bring his elbow inside, push the foot off the hip, sit back, come to the seated guard. Last sequence, grab his legs, butt scoot in to the single leg X guard. Very common for him to scrape the foot off the hip here, and we go right to the X guard. This time I am going to sweep from the X guard, coming up to the top, to the closed guard, and you can see where we go from here, where Jesse can start the whole sequence all over again and do the whole thing on me. There are a lot of variations you can throw in here, and I encourage you to make up your own. One thing that I'm going to do is break those out into modules, because there are times when you're grappling, like maybe your outside hook guard is your A, and you just want to stay there. Maybe your inside hook guard, you have a great back fake from there, and so you want to go back and forth between those two. All of that's perfectly legitimate, and of course you can drill what's most valuable and important to you. But the real thing that I want you to get across here is that when we drill these things, we drill these transitions between guards, because if you're always able to transition, your guard is going to be very hard to pass.